There's a very good reason why the state of Indiana decided to put the state marker called Gateway to Freedom in front of the church at the corner of Main and 3rd Streets. Number one, the Portland to New Albany ferry came in right down there at the bottom of 3rd Street, between 2nd and 3rd Street. That is probably the best verified route of escape for freedom seekers along that whole corridor of the Ohio River from Jeffersonville through Clarksville and New Albany. It's a very well documented site for fugitive slave activity. So that's one reason. Second reason is there's a very strong oral tradition that names that church facility as a place where freedom seekers received assistance from the people that were members there. The third reason why the marker is put there is because based on the oral tradition, there's been a lot of research that's been done that shows that church was indeed a bastion of anti-slavery sentiment in what I would say was a very dangerous environment for freedom seekers. New Albany had a reputation because of its border along the Ohio River and along the slave state of Kentucky. It had a reputation of being pro-slavery for various reasons, but most of it was economic, that we were building steamboats there and selling them to the southern market, and nobody wanted to monkey with the economy of the city. So the church, which had extreme anti-slavery sentiments, was a place where slaves who worked on the river, who worked on the border of Kentucky, could look over across the river. They could see the steeple, and they thought of it as a place of safety. There are several reasons why we can verify the anti-slavery sentiment there. One of them was that Levi Kaufman testified in his book Reminiscences, and by the way, he was referred to as the president of the Underground Railroad. He was helping freedom seekers and contraband families in Cincinnati. And he came traveling along the river to raise funds to help his work with freedom seekers and contraband families in Cincinnati. And he came to New Albany, and where do you think he went? The first place he went to look for help was Second Presbyterian Church, our town clock church. That tells you volumes. Secondly, we had African American members at what was considered probably a white Presbyterian church. Dr. Asahel Clapp, the famous doctor and the first doctor in New Albany, was a member at First Presbyterian Church, the old school Presbyterian Church. But his servant, Amanda Finney, was a member at Second Presbyterian Church. That tells you volumes about the personality of that particular parish. Thirdly, there were sermons that we have expressed by Pastor Atterbury, for example, that talked about his feelings about slavery, condemning slavery as a sin. These people looked on slavery as sinful. Reverend Schneed, who was the first pastor there, he wrote a memorial that went to the National Presbyterian Church and reads in part, I'll read one sentence. "We recognize the African race as a part of the human family. We consider the African slave trade as one of the most monstrous exhibitions of wickedness that the world has ever seen. We therefore declare that we consider slavery as a heinous sin against God and our brother."